Hi folks, welcome to Follow the Leader, a podcast focused on telling character-driven stories through the use of GM-less tabletop games where we can all take the lead. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at FTLcast. Today we're not actually playing any games. We're going to be wrapping up the very last bit of Season 1 by doing a Q&A special. So we have everybody here right now, and we'll be doing Q&A. So I'm Dora, and you can find me on Twitter at HarpyDora, and my pronouns are they, them, and in Season 1, I played Marius Favors, Marisol Soul Hawk, and, Parker.
Parker.
Yeah. We're cutting that out.
And Louisa, too.
Yeah, I played Parker Young and Louisa Lipson. Today we also have...
Hey, I'm Mab. You can find me on Twitter at LittleLadyMab. My pronouns are she, her. And in Season 1, I've played everybody's favorites, Davy Jane and Carrie Kestrel. I don't know what order her name goes in. It's Carrie on this document. Etienne. I forgot their last name, but I had one and it was fancy. And Shu Lupe. I think that was all I've played. I think so. Yes.
I'm Jade. You can find me on Twitter at JadeOxfordRose. I use they, them pronouns. And in Season 1, I played Kari Valon, Max Damage Valera, Tala, and Coyote Sparks.
I'm Kales. You can find me on Twitter at Citadel of Swords. My pronouns are they, them. And in Season 1, I played Meryl Whitmer, Zephyr, Sable, Reuben Murdoch, and Annabelle Lee.
Hi, I'm Sam. You can find me on Twitter at SAKalo, and my pronouns are he, him, and in Season 1, I played Joe Stockton, Garion, and Keta Amberview.
Dora, Sam, and I, aka Kales, also played in The Quiet Year, where we didn't have official characters, but we were still playing a game.
It's true, we did do that.
Alright, now that we've got all that, let's get started with our Q&A session.
Let's dive into these questions. All of these came from Twitter, so thank you everybody that sent them in. I'm putting at my mic in a very dramatic fashion.
It's okay. There's a helicopter flying by and I got distracted.
You're so valid.
So our first question comes in from Will at SameNBHat on Twitter. And what characters did you never get to see together that you really want to?
I got this written down.
Okay. I'll answer first because I got my notes right hand because I looked at these first. First, there's a couple of my characters that I wanted to interact with, but two characters that neither of which are mine that I really wanted to see interact haven't are Davy and Parker.
Oh my goodness!
That would have been so good!
I really want to see Davy and Parker interact at some point. That's just a kind of beautiful puppyish energy that I need to see in my life.
It would be so good and pure.
I love them, and they need to interact. We gotta have a game with that in Season 2.
Yeah, characters of mine, I really want to see Garion and Coyote interact.
Yes, I was gonna say that too. You stole my answer, now I have to come up with another answer. What the fuck?
You don't have to come up with another answer, Sam.
Okay, well then that was my answer too.
I also really want to see Meryl and Kari interacting.
Yes! We sort of, well,
Spoiler
I won't say
alert.
that.
I would say also...
Season 2, baby. Season 2.
Speaking of Season 2, now I'm really excited for Carrie and Marius to eventually just snark.
Yes.
Snark, never ending.
Speaking of Carrie, I really want to see her and Reuben together. It would be so horrible. I need it to happen immediately.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I'm gonna actually share something that I'm a little embarrassed by. I didn't realize that Carrie and Kari were different characters until literally just now. And it's so fucking confused on our Discord server for the last, ever.
Now we need Carrie and Kari to just be beautiful.
I thought people were just pronouncing the name differently or
Carrie has two
misspelling it. I
Rs.
was so fucking confused, you guys.
That's very good.
So we need,
That's very
we need
good. I'm
Kerrigan
so
and
sorry.
Kari to be beautiful and wicked together.
Yes.
Man, Carrie could be the best, worst influence on Kari.
Honestly, if we were doing a high school yearbook superlatives, Carrie and Kari would win the
Yes,
best looking.
they would.
Yep.
Let's
You
be
are too
real.
kind.
We should actually do that sometime. We should do
I was going to say,
so
put Carrie
that-
back
yeah,
in
that'd be
high
fun.
school?
Yeah, we should do FTL superlatives. No, let's not put Carrie back in high school, please.
Yeah, no, I have point blank said that I cannot imagine how to play Kari as a teenager. There's a reason why when we talked with high school, there was a reason why
That's
it wouldn't have been
valid.
Kari, because I can't wrap my head around him
Yeah,
as a teenager.
no, so valid. So valid.
So
Kari
Kari came into life fully blossomed as in the early 20s at the very earliest. Most of the time he's
burst from the
mid-20s.
forehead of Goddess of Love.
Yeah, Aphrodite just
Yeah.
oh yeah, the world needs this person.
Yeah.
It's true.
Back to the question,
Yeah.
Jade and I have talked about Ruben and Quixote, and yes. I really want that to actually happen on screen at some point, because it would just be so much.
It really would. I think the two characters I'd like to see interact, I have two answers. I want to see Marius and Garion interact so they can be catty at each other.
Yes!
Yes.
Fuck.
Remember when we went into the Divmon game and Sam was like, God, Garion is such a twinky little bottom, and then it was like,
He
no,
was supposed to be.
not at all.
His original iteration was absolutely a
He was
twinkie little
supposed to
bottom,
be.
and then he got old and jaded, but he still looks like a
And
twinkie little bottom.
unfortunately,
Now he's a power bottom.
he met Ruben.
God, I also want Marius and Quixote to meet. Just because I think Quixote could put Marius in their place. They need somebody to be like, no, stop.
Speaking of people to say no and stop, it just occurred to me how much I want to see Kari and Ruben interact.
we should be taking notes.
Oh my
we know
goodness.
to play. We're recording it. It's fine.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like we've got an audio record.
So let's write it down from that audio record.
These are all
afterwards.
promises that we're making to ourselves.
Yeah.
These are all promises we're making to ourselves. It's
Yep.
fine.
Yep.
Okay. Did anybody have any others?
Yes.
Before we move on to
I
the
have
next
one
question?
more. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but Sable and Soul.
Interesting.
Ooh.
That could be interesting. Battle of the
Angsty
angst.
McMahon pain.
Yes.
But not man.
Yes.
Angsty McNot man pain.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it, and I was like, who do I want to see Sable interact with? And I was like, well, I've already said Quixote. I've talked to Jade about this. But I was like, I don't want to just do that again, because I just want to interact with Quixote in general. And then I was like, Saul.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, it's me. This question came from Rachel at Velicor. I apologise. What was everyone's favourite game / favourite session? I'm assuming this is as a player? Wait, actually, we can answer as a player and to listen to, actually. 'cause
Yeah.
that could be fun.
Does anybody actually listen to their own podcasts? I sure fucking don't.
I don't.
Yes.
I listen to all of them.
Yeah.
I don't listen to
Yeah,
our podcasts.
I've listened
I'm sorry,
to all but 2 arcs.
I have, not been able to listen to stuff since, the Fiasco, the first Fiasco game, but I'm going to eventually.
That's a mood, actually, because I don't think I've listened to anything since the first Fiasco game either.
I had to cram listen to 2 of the arcs, so as it goes. I think for me, the favorite game was definitely the stream that we did of This Town is Full of Monsters that we did with Danielle.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
was like one of my absolute faves. And then as far as like on recording podcast release, I definitely really enjoyed the Karma for the ghosts, the ghost mansions, the Hindley Mansion Karma. But I'm also really enjoying listening to our Kingdom game a lot, just
Our
because
Kingdom game is really
I listened
good.
to. I had to listen to episode 2 after episode 1 came out because I was just like, no, it's so good. There was not enough Carrie in episode 1, and so I was like, God, it was so good.
It's really
It's
good.
really good. I love Carrie so much.
I think my favorite episode to play in was the Divmon game with Saul and Harley and Garion and Ruben and Vesper. That was just such a fun time.
Yeah.
But my favorite to listen to was either the Sundered or the Hindley Mansion Karma.
Sunderland was a good one.
I make absolutely no secret that the Sunderland game was my favorite.
Oh, what, really? You like the City of Gold?
I like the City of Gold so much I insisted on prequels and sequels to it, so
City of Gold is good.
City of Gold is very good. But like if the Sunderland didn't exist, then I would probably say the Kingdom game. And the first Kingdom game was so much fun to listen to, and then the second Kingdom game was really fun to play in and mess up, but whatever.
Carrie winky face emoji here.
I'm still really sorry about that. But it was just so much fun to listen to and then be able to be like, all right, I'm gonna step into this world now. That was really cool to sort of be able to listen to it and be like, yeah, I want to interact with this world more, and then be able to.
It was cool to just exist and cause you all problems as you all destroyed yourselves. Yeah. It's good times.
It was good.
My favorite game to, like, as I said, like, I haven't listened to a lot of our podcasts because I just, like, keep forgetting that we have a podcast that we're recording instead of, just playing games with friends. That's not necessarily true. I have a hard time listening to, like,
That's fine. That's
podcasts in general.
Valid.
But my favorite game to play was absolutely the Dream Askew game. Getting to play Keta again was so much fun, and it had been, like, a year and a half since... No, it had been about a year since I stopped playing her in my regular D&D game, and it was just, like, it meant a lot to me to have such, like, a beautiful and, like, rich world that we created, and, like, just from a whole cloth, we created this beautiful, rich world, and plunked these characters in, and to get to, like, play a character that I already loved so much was such an experience for me, and it was just, like, it was incredible. Also, that game just fucking rocked.
As a player, I think I had the most fun playing the Karma game with Mab and Dora, because Marius, Davey, and Kari, it was such a really fun group dynamic to bounce around in. I felt like it really showed off those characters in a really cool and interesting way. And I love the Two Kingdom games as a player. Like, I feel like some of my best moments as a RPer are across those, are in the Kingdom game. Either part 1 or part 2, which we can actually talk about, which might actually change one of my answers for a later question, because I've just realised that will all be out by the time this Q&A is. As a listener, I adore, and I'm not a person that likes listening to myself that much, really, even though I'm not going to get into that. I love the Sunderland because it feels almost really mythical. I don't want to say it feels like Lord of the Ringsy, but there's something really cinematic about the Sunderland game that was just really kind of... It's not like any of our other games. That's me.
Rachel also asked us if you had to switch your entire character roster with another player, who would it be? And I have my answer to this question. All capital letters, 3 words, Jade, full stop.
I feel very flattered.
One day I will play Kari.
Yeah.
It will happen.
For me, hands down, it's Dora. I really want to play. I really want to play Parker. I really want to play Sol. I really want to play Marius. Like,
Oh my
fuck.
gosh. I want you to play Marius.
Off topic, with Dora's permission, Marius has appeared in the Masks campaign I run for some friends, and I got to play Marius in that universe. And as soon as I explained one of the inspirations for them, both the players were like, "Oh, I get who this person is," and I'm like, "Yeah," but getting to play Marius was very good. It was very good. So yeah, that's my answer.
I'd probably swap with either Mab or with Jade. Because I want to play Davy, kind of, but also, like, I want to see Jade try to play Garion.
We're taking notes for the next character swap session, right? Oh,
You mean the
we're
first
recording
character
this.
swap session?
Yeah,
The first
them
not
was a
on
live
stream.
Oh, yeah, I'll do a
Yeah,
stream
the-
with that. That's right.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
did
listen
one
to
on
the
stream.
I obviously haven't listened to the streams.
Yeah.
That's fair. I only know about it because I actually watched that stream.
Casual reminder: you can listen to our live streams if you support our Patreon.
I was just like, wait, I keep forgetting that's going to be a thing.
Because
we're recording, it's
our
gonna be a
Patreon. Right?
Oh my god, give us money. And then
Please give us money.
the fan
Yeah.
fiction that I hinted at on my Twitter, I will write and you'll be able to read it.
Yeah, and you guys will get to see all sorts of fun art on my Twitter.
Yeah.
On Twitter,
And
on
I've got
Patreon.
some other bonuses. Dot.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. I know, I was like, now I'll have an excuse to start writing fan fiction for these characters.
Hell yeah.
Or is it fan fiction if it's our own characters?
Yes.
Who knows?
So we
Yeah.
are fans of our characters.
Yeah. And then as far as my answer goes, my audio spiked and I'm sitting so far away from my mic. I think I'll try. I would like to try picking up some of Kales' characters. I know I play. Well, I'll just say Carrie's a mean girl, but you know, Davey's not a mean kid. He's just well-meaning. So I was like, I think I can probably do, you know, the niceness of Gales' characters and not completely just be like a mean girl all the time.
Ruben is also a mean girl.
Yeah, this is true.
So, like, you could also pull that. You could also pull them off.
All right, there we go. Yeah,
And all of my characters are just, as somebody once told me, every single character I play is just slutty and mean. So
Joe wasn't mean.
I'm
It's
trying
true,
to
Joe
think
wasn't
if I
mean.
can do a Scottish accent, but I would have to channel my inner David Tennant. No, I'm just kidding. I was
please.
so bad. I was playing Kingdom Hearts, and fucking Scrooge shows up, and I didn't know it was because like he just starts talking off camera, and I'm like, "Who is this Yahoo?" And then he goes, "Bless me bagpipes," and I go, "That's fucking Scrooge," and I don't know what accent that is. Like, couldn't you just get David Tennant to come on and do it? You make me watch DuckTales with David Tennant, and then give me this. It's beyond the point.
So fucking valid, Jesus.
So valid.
I know I said I'd swap Dora's full roster, but I really want to play Sable at some point. And I just had a really
Yes.
fun idea for something that I don't want to say here on the Q&A, but I'm going to make a note of it so I can say after we finish the Q&A because I want to break Chaos'.
Jade, DM
brain.
me
I will
immediately.
DM you now.
I think. See, I'm torn because I really want a shot at Keta, but also like everybody that Mab has played, I would love to have a chance to play, even though I'm afraid I would play them all badly. But
It'll be beautiful.
So Danielle at RedtailHawk90 on Twitter asks, "What is the first thing you do / decide on when creating a new character?"
Nice, easy question from Danielle.
So often what I'll do is I'll either start with like a personality trait or an aesthetic, or like a very basic, like, I want my next character to be like, here's what like my start, my inspiration. I'll pick something like I'm gonna be inspired by, you know, I don't know, like with Keta, the first thing I started with Keta was she's like a hot topic mall goth dwarf with a gun. Like, that was
very
where she
good.
started at the beginning of the campaign that I played her in. Now she's obviously a much more fleshed out character. And then, with the character that I played in my, the most recent character that I made was a character that I am playing in a new D&D game. Her name is Aletha Catavorn. And the first thing that I started with was, when I was doing my Secret Simul, I was drawing Pharaoh, like, riding on the dog. And my brain went, what if, like, I had a character that, like, is always riding a dog? Or, like, I started with, she was going to be a cavalier. And then I was like, oh shit, what if she's, like, missing a leg, so she's always riding her dog? So she's always mounted, so that's why she's the cavalier character archetype. But then with,
really
like,
cool.
people, the characters like Joe, with Joe, I started with, like, I made Joe for, like, a school assignment. And I just, like, had his design around, and I was like, I'm going to play this character. So, like, it's sort of different wherever it is, but it's like, I always start with, like, something small as an inspiration, and then build out from that.
Yeah, I usually also, like, I tend to also start with character type. Like, it usually ends up being a profession, actually. Or some, like, Meryl was, I didn't have a thief character yet. And then I thought it would be fun to play an amateur thief character. That's where she came from. And actually, there's a sort of a funny thing with, I made Meryl before the podcast. Right around the same time I made another character of mine, and I was trying to transpose her character traits onto that other character and use the name, and it wasn't working. And I was talking to one of my writing partners about it, and he was like, I think you just need to, like, change the name. And I was like, all right, fine, I guess I'm gonna sort of go with the same thought, and I ended up with Meridian, and yeah, that's how Blackjack was born, it's fine. But I kept Meryl around, and I was like, well, I can have a professional jewel thief and an amateur jewel thief. And then Sable was definitely me being like, okay, I'm gonna play a lawful character. I'm gonna do it. I'm still failing at it, it's fine. But Zephyr was always a ghost. I had the name first, and then I realized that they were a ghost.
Mine really vary. Kari came out of a text RP, a game of MFO Firebrands. Originally.
Love that game.
And I
Blows Kiss to the Sky for Stray.
Stray. And I loved him so much that when we started talking about doing this podcast, I was like, I'm going to use Kari. I will find a game where he fits, but I loved Kari too much as a character to give him up. I couldn't just play him once. So Kari has shifted from his MFO Firebrands days, but a lot of the traits that sort of really come up in that game, just like, there's a reason why Kari is always a former soldier. There's a reason why Kari is always a romantic. So he came back.
Because he's perfect?
Well, that's for you guys to decide. Max was in,
so yes.
Max was born when we decided we were doing the Kingdom game was going to be in space. So I was like, I want to be the mechanic because I love lady mechanic characters, and she just came out a lot of archetypes I like, and sort of. But she started from the place of being a lady mechanic, which was sort of determined by that setting, and her role came first, and that's true of Tala as well. Though Tala, as anyone that listens to Friends of the Table know, is really quite clearly my love letter to Season 1 Throndir, in a lot of ways, because that's where Tala sort of came from. Coyote is sheer, unadulterated wish fulfillment in a lot of ways, but I sort of had vague ideas about them. But again, Dream Askew as a setting sort of happened. I had the name Coyote Sparks for a very different character. And when we started knowing what we were going to do Dream Askew, and I knew I was going to be playing the Hawker, I was like, oh, I have an idea how I was going to get this to go. Also, Coyote's kind of a love letter to some different characters. Aside from Tala, also, all of my characters have been hot. And I'm not going to lie.
You're not wrong about that.
I tend to...
Tala's also hot.
You gotta make your characters hot sometimes. It's just how it is.
Yeah, a lot of my characters that I've played in Follow the Leader are very much sort of wish fulfillment, like they express a part of me that I wish I had, and but that's not necessarily the starting point. but Kari and Coyote especially are aspirational for me in different ways, whereas Max is possibly a version of me that is both me at some of my best and some of my worst, and I love her so much for it, whereas
I love my girlfriend.
Tala is just a sweetheart. But it really depends on if the setting sparks my interest, or if I have a character in mind that I want to bring to something. There's a character I played on a live stream that I'm really looking forward to hopefully bringing into season 2, called Theo, who I had as a concept of a character first, and it was more like where I want a game for him. So yeah, it really does vary for me anyway.
I think what I like to do is I like to have like a little one line like seed. So like, Parker is, I'm just glad to be here, y'all. And Saul is angsty McMahon pain but a lady. And Marius, I'm going to show my whole ass is what if the great Phantasmo were younger and a non-binary person? So
Nice.
So
I knew that already, but it's still good.
I'm not sure if I've said it on mic before, but I'm committing to it now. So it's like I start with that, and the only exception is Louisa. She came from the This Town is Full of Monsters live stream that we did with Danielle, and I think like
Danielle, who's asking us this question. Hi, Danielle.
Yeah. And I feel like she's the one that I'm still feeling out who she is as a person. But I'm getting to the point where I think she's solidifying in my head, and I think she's anxiety but a lady.
Nice.
Good.
Mab?
I can create characters at the drop of a hat if I want to, because I just do it a lot. And so, like, all of these characters but one for a session that we've done for season 2, I've made specifically for Follow the Leader. And, like, even Lupe was technically a minor character in our very first game of Follow that we did as a test recording. And, but everyone else has just kind of, like, come up, based on the original setting that I made them in, seeing what character type I wanted to play. Except for Davy. Davy was because, like, the day before I had watched a video where someone was doing Hamlet, but as a vlogger, and I wanted that level of dramatics.
I love that video was amazing.
I love that video. Yeah, I think Jade, you reblogged it on Tumblr, and then I saw it and I went, oh my god, I need this. But, no, most of the time I will get, like, a vague character concept, and then I'll make a pin board, and then I have my character. So I have pin boards for all of my characters. I think...
Same.
Yeah. So, like, all of my Season 1 characters, like, have had, like, a fairly prominent role since Carrie ended up leaving the Follow game, and I got to play Etienne for an entire round. And their dramatic flair. So obviously I had to make them a character board. So, I Pinterest aesthetic that shit. I'll get a vague idea of what I want to play based on the setting, and then I'll just go to Pinterest. And then from there, it's easy to, as we'll see in a later question. Regular, what the fuck? In the later question, like, translating the characters, it's, boiling it down after that based on their Pinterest aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I think that's everybody's answered that one now.
What one game did you not play this season that you really want to? And for me personally, it got played, but I would love to play Dream Askew. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've played it.
I didn't.
Right. Yeah. You and I played it.
I didn't get to play it. I didn't get to play it on a recording, or even like all of the games that we were supposed to play for fun, like, I either had to back out of or got canceled or rescheduled or something, and I still haven't gotten to play it. And I have 2 characters made for it, and I just really fucking want to play it. Someone please play Dream Askew with me.
I'll play Dream Askew with you. I fucking love Dream Askew.
It's a real good game. Yeah, I've only played it for fun. We didn't even record it. But that was fun. I would like to play it, like, on a recording. I would also like to play a Firebrands game on recording, and spoilers.
Well, I got good news for you, bud.
I know, right?
I was gonna answer that too as a firebrands, but we're gonna
A brand of fire.
This is also going to be like a little bit self-centered, but I'm writing a fashion mecha battle game
excited for this!
that I really would like to play.
I want to play it so bad.
Because
Sorry, it's Love
Listen.
Mickey meets Firebrands. I want
yeah,
it.
you gotta make the content you want to see in the world, and
Valid.
a friend of mine, thanks Richard, had this dream, and I was like, I want to write that game now, and 3 months later I'm finally writing the game, and it looks really fun, and I want to play my own game.
I did not read the question correctly, so I have a different kind of answer to everybody else. So I'll get to that in a second. I'm quite lucky in that I think I've gotten to play all of the systems. MFO Firebrands or a hack thereof. I'm excited to play. We've actually, at time of recording this, we have played one that I had so much fun playing, and I'm so excited for the listeners to hear, because that's some of the. Yeah, it's just like, it was entirely my flavour of bullshit, and it was just very good to play. But I got to play all the systems like that I was interested in playing. I've played The Quiet Year before, and I think it's a great game. I just don't get on with it very well as a player, personally. But that's just me. In terms of the games that were played that I wish I had been part of, I really wish I'd been part of San Lupercalia. Because that was how I misread the question, and that was how I took it. I really wish that urban fantasy is one of my most favourite things. So I was gutted.
Jade, I got good news for you too.
Are we doing another urban fantasy game? Or have you guys already recorded one?
We're gonna do Noirlandia at some point.
Yeah, Noirlandia.
Perfect.
We haven't cancelled that.
It's one of the unspecified an unspecified time in the future. But that's
at some point. We'll do it.
Unspecified location.
Yeah.
Just kidding, it'll be in your podcast stream feed thing.
Perfect.
Is that it?
Cool.
Is that everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Did everyone just say Dream Askew?
Dream Askew or MFO Firebrands.
Back to the top. Again, coming in from Danielle, as was the last one, is angst or fluff? Y'all.
A man needs both.
Here's the thing, is that, like, I can
Yes.
definitely be an angst gremlin a lot.
We literally have
But-
an emoji in the server called
We
Angst
do have
Gremlin.
an emoji.
We do have an emoji. My thing with angst is that if it's not in the service of future fluff or hurt comfort,
Yeah.
then I don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't like needless
Suffering.
angst.
Yeah.
I a lot of the stuff that I end up doing, I do a lot of, this is not necessarily true in Follow the Leader, this is true in my other projects that I work on. I do a lot of pre-story suffering, so that the story itself is about the coming back from that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of baggage and a lot of hurt that goes along with it, but then you get the comfort and you get the fluff. I'm not a big fan of Dead Dove Do Not Eat. I get why people are. I just, like, I don't want to just feel sad at the end of something. I make no secret of the fact that I don't like major character death. Do I occasionally write major character death? Yes, but, like...
I was about to say.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, everyone at me, it's fine. But I don't enjoy it very much at all, unless I feel like it's unless I feel like it's the only choice that can be made, which a lot of times it's not the choice that has to be made.
Yeah, like, for the sake of clarity, because it has aired now, because I feel similarly, like, I can't just have fluff. Fluff is fun and amazing, but too much of it becomes saccharine, and I get bored. And the same reason, because I like drama, and drama is not the same thing as angst. And if I could only pick one thing, I'm possibly going to pick drama because of who I am as a person. Because conflict and resolution is fascinating to me. But, like, when I think about Kingdom Part 2, when I think about the Max and Meryl stuff, that was the only way that story could have gone. But if it didn't have the payoff that it had, it would have just sucked.
Yeah.
It would have hurt and it would have been gone nowhere. And that would
Yeah.
have just been really fucking shitty. And we've talked about this off camera. There's a reason why we may not return to Fiasco as a system, because the endings tend to be so depressing, except for Kerry.
Yeah, no, Fiasco fucking sucked.
Yeah, my thing about Fiasco, and I said this a lot, is that I would not be able to play Fiasco again without a character that I would not feel upset about having something bad happen to.
Yeah.
Like, if I played Fiasco with Ruben,
Yeah.
on some level, Ruben would deserve whatever bad ending they got, and I would be like, yeah, that's sad, but you want to know what? They're a shithead, so it's fine. They're chaotic neutral, it's okay.
Yeah, I suppose there's a difference between sad and, like, there can be dramatically powerful stuff that kind of shitty, but as long as it's narratively satisfying, and I think angst for the sake of angst is not narratively satisfying, just like fluff for the sake of fluff can be fun, but again, isn't always narratively satisfying.
It's good for
by
like
itself.
a 2,000 word
Yeah.
rabble, and then you're like,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
If-
need it in really small doses, because just doing an entire game of it is just like, okay,
We get
You
it,
need
you're
all
in
the
love.
like, it can be
Go
interesting.
kiss.
Yeah,
It can be interesting when it's in service of something else going on.
yeah.
But if your entire focus is on the saccharin,
Yeah. You need the soul and you need the sweet. You need both to really... I think as we're all storytellers, and it's that stuff in contrast with each other that makes telling stories fun. To have
Yeah.
the hurt and the comfort.
Yeah.
To have the drama and the
Yeah.
sweetness. So...
I do want to be very clear, though, that this doesn't mean that I think that having healthy relationships in stories is boring,
oh
because
god, no, it's not.
that's not what I mean at all.
No.
You don't have to create drama in a relationship in order to make it interesting.
No. Agreed.
But the relationship itself has to serve to... The relationship itself can't... Like, there's a balance that you have to strike there. But you don't have to put troubles in the relationship. I think a lot about Jake and Amy in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's a really
Yeah.
good example of a really good relationship in a show where you enjoy watching them, but they don't have... Like, they have normal couple struggles, but they're not building drama for them for the sake of drama, because they wouldn't be interesting
Yeah,
otherwise.
Mike Schur's good at that. Like, his het couples I'm actually vaguely invested in. Like, oh my god, his name just totally left my head. Leslie and
Ben?
Ben, thank you. Leslie and Ben,
Ben, yeah.
Chidi and Eleanor, though their situation is different. Like, Mike Schur knows how to do a het relationship that I care about. So, which is actually harder than you might think. So...
But yeah, that's how I feel about angst and fluff.
Anyone else want to chime in? Cows and I just talked loads.
I prefer fluff to angst. I'm not a huge, like, angst gremlin or whatever. Like, I think angst serves, or, like, you know, I think, like, sad things serve their purpose within a story, but I can't, like, I don't tend to, like, you know, like what Kale said, like, I don't want to play Fiasco again, because, like, having my character, like, have, like, almost a good ending and then have it fall apart, like, so much, like, that was, like, really tough for me. So, like, I don't
I
wanna
straight
do
up
that
couldn't
again.
figure out how to write my character into a bad ending, and you can tell
Yeah.
at the end of that
It was
Fiasco game.
so
And I
awkward.
Yeah.
because I was standing there going, I literally don't know how Meryl can have a bad ending here, and I was like, So, and I feel like I haven't listened to the end of Fiasco, but I feel like something similar happened to you, Sam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sam got
Yeah.
the shit kicked out of
yeah.
Joe.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, Joe
Yeah.
fucking died.
Rip.
And I was just like I didn't know what to do there. I definitely froze up for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to write fluff. I'm very removed from like what I create. Like I understand, like I'm able to like pull myself out of it very easily. I mean, on one hand, I haven't finished writing book 3 of my novel because I understand that it's going to end very badly. So, you know, there is not going to be a happy ending for this series, but that's the way that it was built. And book 2 just took a lot out of me. And so, like, I'm not ready to go back to it yet. But at the same time, like, I understand, like, I am okay with putting my characters through this, and you'll see my answer in a few questions, but I'm very happy with doing both, so long as, like, you know, again, like, everyone else is comfortable with it, and everyone else, you know, deserves the payoff. Just because I can write sad things and leave them sad, I definitely know that not everyone else can. So, you know, I'm yes to the answer. Yes, both. Both is good.
I'm gonna be kind of the dissenter here because I'm the one who's constantly like, okay.
You're the angst gremlin.
You are the one who added the emoji is
Dora
yours.
always makes it sadder.
You're the angst gremlin, for sure.
And I mean, okay, it's not just like needlessly sadder, but it's
No.
but I do, at least in the context of Follow the Leader, I do greatly enjoy putting my characters in situations that make them sad. And, you know, I've done that with Parker. Like, I have a tendency to sacrifice Parker at the end of Follow.
Which I hate. I hate when you do that.
You just have a habit of sacrificing your character. No big deal.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I'm mad about it, but it's okay.
Well, I would do it to Davy in a heartbeat. I have done it to Davy in a heartbeat. Anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, Fluff has its place. I greatly enjoy reading Fluff. But when it comes to FTL in general, there are only a couple of instances where I've leaned into the Fluff. I usually lean into the angst.
I haven't had a chance to lean into Fluff, so it's good. I can only angst it up, baby.
Sorry.
That doesn't count
That's
as
not-
Fluff.
That's not true. I think, well, okay. No, you're right. I was gonna be like the Karma game with Davy, but it's like that wasn't Fluff, but it was just
That
it
wasn't
was
Fluff.
it was satisfying, good ending.
Yes. I mean, I got a positive ending, yeah.
This is a great question. Again from Danielle. What was your favorite on-camera moment?
I'm just automatically looking at Dora, because I know
Yeah.
what their answer is.
My favorite on-camera moment was the best instance of yes and in the entire season, I think, was when in the Sundered when Marius was like, I don't think you're telling the whole truth, and Kales was like, Sable fucked their god. That was
Automatically.
that was just
automatic.
It was so good. It was so good. It's my favorite moment in the entire season.
I just loved
Understandable.
listening
That's
to the
incredible.
realization in their voice and in
Yeah.
their
Yeah,
silence.
I fucking, like, the second I saw that, I was like, oh, I know what I have to do here.
You just
I have no choice.
in that second of silence, you just heard the realization going, yep.
I cut
I gotta
myself off of the sentence because everyone knew what was coming. The second, it just, yeah.
I also love the ripples that has had, because the City of Goals verse is continuing in season 2 and in one of our live streams. And like, yeah, that is the gift that keeps on fucking giving. That yes, man. It's, you do not know the amount of messages that Kales and I have exchanged on this topic. It's
So many.
so many.
So many. It's so good.
That's incredible.
That really is the moment I think that solidified the Sunderland as being the game that, like a game that we were going to come back to. Like, I feel like I don't really want to be tooting my own horn, because I don't actually have an answer to this question, because the whole podcast is my favorite on-camera moment. I don't know. I can't really pick one or like a couple to say, but like that was the first one where we were like, okay, yeah, we're building a world we want to come back to, at least for me, because I think on some level the Kingdom game was that for a couple of the others, but for me, the Sunderland, I was like, okay, no, I want to come back to this. I want to know what this means.
Yeah. For me, a couple of favourite on-camera moments as a player, like stuff I had so much fun doing and listening back. I think you can hear how much fun I am having. Is Max's conversation with the lieutenant in the first Kingdom game. And the shower conversation, which has given me a reputation on this podcast that I'm never going to get rid of, and that's okay. But that conversation...
Oh, you mean jizz?
Yes, that conversation.
Shower jizz?
Kari's possession in the Karma game, like getting to describe that was so. There's a reason why my nickname in the Discord server was Mr. Hindley for season 1, because I adored that moment. And I think, like, again, cinematically, like, the visual of that scene and that exchange between Marius and Mr. Hindley as Kari is so fucking good.
So good.
And from the Second Kingdom game, the conversation with Max and Meryl. Oh, it's...
I actually just realized that, like,
that I actually cried during the recording of that. So, like, I was very quietly crying on my end of things. And, yeah. Like, I feel very lucky on this podcast to get to RP with some really amazingly talented people. So, yeah. It's always, like I said, like I was saying about the whole like, getting to play with these people is the best. So
I would 100% agree with that.
There's my sappy bit for the Q&A.
Oh, you know what? It is another one in the first half of that Second Kingdom game where Dora completely... Because I'd been thinking about how those reunion scenes were going to go for weeks. And Dora completely throwing out, like, every possibility of what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then just having Saul walk out, and the whole scene just having nothing to do with, like, what the actual point of the game was.
Kuiper's like,
Dora is fantastic at throwing curveballs.
Yeah, and just being like, okay, this is gonna be fun. Because, like, Dora and I had been talking about that scene, and what they did on camera was nothing like what we had talked about. Other things, when we totally hacked to pieces the Reverie and the Prayer in Divmon in the San Lupercalia game.
That was fucking amazing.
That was so good. We did so good with that.
Yeah, my favorite on-screen moment was in Dream Askew, the moment where like my little NPC child and like everybody, we were like sitting in a circle and like summoning the psychic maelstrom or whatever. Like that was such a powerful moment for me. Like that was a really good moment of like role playing for me as well. Like I really, really enjoyed that. But also just like all of Divmon was so fucking good.
Divmon was so good.
Mab, any moments that particularly stuck out for you, Dora?
I definitely enjoyed the Carrie and Meryl conversation in Kingdom. The "oh, you're the ghost," and "hey, want a round 2?" winky face emoji, and basically, I really enjoyed Joe and Davy's scenes in our Fiasco game.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, that was
I think you need to bring back Joe and maybe in one of our Ghost games, and then he can be friends with Davy, and it won't be weird. But I just liked I'll hold you in my big strong arms. I think that
those two are so dumb.
I love
He's
Davy.
large and very dumb. I love
Davy and Joe. They're both dumb children, and it's beautiful.
I love them.
But yeah, I think those are some of my favorites that I've done. But also a lot of the others that have been mentioned. The Mr. Hindley possession, the visually in the Sunderland game where Marius walks over the edge of the cliff and there's that giant cat monster.
Yeah.
That I really liked the visual of that. I also really love the visuals of the whites. But I have told Kales this and they're cool. But yeah, that was some good creepy shit.
I was gonna say, that fight with the white in the Sundered Land with Tala. was really, really cool.
This love that good 2 a.m. nightmare shit, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so is that it from people?
I think that was
Yeah.
all of us.
In other news, we're all real good at this, y'all.
We super are. It's been what? It's already been a full hour. There's lots of, like, dead air and, like, stuttering to cut
And
out.
cut this.
It's fine. It's fine.
This will be, like, pretty tight editing. Probably. It'll
Yeah.
have to be.
So I have a question for Jade about this question, which is, are we saying that this is like a separate?
Yeah, from a mechanics side of things rather than a narrative.
Okay,
Side of
that
things.
makes sense. So Jade at Jade Oxford Rose on Twitter.
Oh, they're good. I like them.
That would have been really funny if Jade got that question.
Yeah, it really would have been. Asked us, what is your favorite system from a mechanics standpoint that you've played on the podcast so far? I have a bit of a soft spot for the Firebrands style games, but also I really love the Sundered Land. Well, they were both written by D. Vincent Baker, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that tracks.
That tracks. With the asking questions and getting answers style, and I really love the Sunderland's, one person is a character and the rest of the players are the world.
Mm-hmm.
The Doomed Pilgrim in the Ruins of the Future game. And I sort of carried that over a little bit in our This Town is Full of Monsters stream
Mm-hmm.
for the dream that Annabelle had, because I really liked the collaborative world building that goes into that. I mean, also, and I said it before, say it again, this, like, I'm trying to not talk about the live stream games, but This Town is Full of Monsters is my favorite game right now, currently of all time, and I love I love the world building of that game so much, so that's definitely, and then it becomes sort of freeform, and you can sort of do however, I'm doing a weird arm thing, do however you want, so, like, with that dream sequence, I was like, alright, I want to do Doomed Pilgrim in the Ruins of the Future for this. And being able to say, I'm gonna combine some games here, and having the freedom to be able to do that is just, that's what I want. That's what I like.
Mm-hmm.
Also, The King is Dead, the card mechanic, is really good.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of different systems for this, but I fucking love Fiasco. Like, I know everyone here is just like, cursed game, but I absolutely adore it. Because
Okay,
The system's good.
the system's
is
good.
great.
I know Quinn and I have talked about the fact that, like, especially after that other Live at the Table episode where they played the zoo one and then it suddenly was very sad at the end. We've talked about, like, even the soft ending of Fiasco is still really hard, so there needs to be, like, a true soft ending. But
Yeah.
I fucking love Fiasco as the system, just of the way that it, like, it forces you to do certain things on, like, positive and negatives, and the way that it helps you build and design characters and relationships by, like, making you
Yeah.
pick from specific answers. It's really good, and I also just like to cause pain.
We got a lot of really excellent character development out of that Fiasco game because of the choices that we had to make,
Yes.
That's true, yeah.
which we can talk about in a later question, but was really helpful. I love Fiasco up until the endings.
Yeah.
It's that final table. It's that final
Yeah,
table.
if we could just, like, cut out the ending part of it, I would be happy.
Yeah.
I'd be fine playing Fiasco.
Yeah, like, I liked both of my endings. Davies made sense for his character, and Carrie plays to win, bitches. So, you know, it
Fuck
worked.
off, Mab. Who is calling me right now? Sorry.
I'm calling you out. No. Yeah. And again, like, to repeat what Kale said, our stream of This Town is Full of Monsters, just, like, mechanically, that flowed really well. And we were just all full peak aesthetic bullshit. And it was great.
Mm-hmm.
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 I think from a mechanic standpoint, I'd never played a follow game before. I'd played follow, like, once. before playing it oh wait.
That's season
That's
2.
season
Season
2,
two,
Fuck.
baby.
Okay, never mind.
You haven't played Follow yet.
I'm just gonna say, I played Follow for a thing we've already recorded for season 2, and that was my favorite, and that's my answer.
Legit,
That's fine.
legit.
That's fine.
I liked it more than all of the games I played in season 1. That's why.
Well,
Including Dream Askew?
Okay, Dream Askew is also a really good system, but, like, mechanics-wise, Follow is so good.
Oh yeah, no, you're so
Yeah.
right about that. It's really easy to pick up
Yeah,
and play. Like, it's just, like, really simple.
absolutely. Yeah, that's what I fucking love about it.
I think my favorite system mechanically is Karma because it's kind of like a soft, it is kind of like a softer Fiasco, but I really enjoy
Yeah.
the complication mechanic. That's just
Yeah, I loved Karma.
it's super, the complication mechanic is super fun. It resulted, especially in like the Hindley Mansion one, resulted in some really cool stuff.
yeah, I was gonna cite mechanics-wise the Karma was definitely my favorite from that. I really wanna. I know you guys did a little. You guys did a lot actually. But I've just not listened to it at the point of recording to this. I really want to write my own setting for us to play using Karma, because I love how that works. And from a setting perspective, I really like Dream Askew for building the Enclave and the way you build your characters with these set relationships with each other, and how that creates this platform for which, like, the idea of you create the Enclave, you create parts of the world, you create aspects of the world that you play, like the scarcities and stuff like that, and it's a real free form. Once you get past the setup, there's a lot of freedom to it but also the way it works with your hooks and your lures and stuff like that, and the token mechanic, it's really good.
Yeah, that one's also got a good aesthetic built into it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Post-apocalypse or apocalypse scene.
Can't wait to play it someday.
Well, Kales, I've got good news for you.
Thanks, Jade.
You're
I'm
welcome.
literally about to message that chat right now.
I know. I really enjoyed our one game of it that we didn't record, and I wanted to go back and like grab an aesthetic point from it, but we didn't record it. So I was just like, oh no, alas, I don't remember the specifics aesthetics that we had for it, but it was so good.
So Riley at JSadX on Twitter asks, very curious as to how you guys keep track of all the characters and settings that you've used, as well as different relationships our recurring characters have to the world and other characters in each game they're in.
Short answer, a lot of Google Docs.
Yeah, short answer, just a ton of Google Docs, and the fact that we have a list on our Tumblr account that has all of the characters that we've played, because we did have to reference that at the beginning.
Yep.
We did we have also had to send that to people in our Discord server to make it easier for them, which is totally fine. I don't mind.
But yeah,
Please go look at our Tumblr. I made it myself.
it's good.
It's really good. I don't post to it often enough.
It's fine. It happens.
There's lots of ways. I think we talk about it. What's great is the way our Discord server, our private one, is organized. Each game has its own channel, and so it's really easy to keep track of what happened in what game. It's just a good way of helping keep things filed in, but also how to keep. Also, we also kind of don't, because it's really fun to theorize and talk about. Okay, so what's so and so doing in this world? I think we kind of casually have the kind of like all of the characters exist in every universe, and it's just fun to think about what they might be doing at any given time during it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which is actually more of a thing for the next question that also was sent by Riley. But yeah, in all seriousness, we put the work in at the top with how we organise our Discord server, with our GDocs, and yeah, we talk about it a lot.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too is we bring characters together sometimes in pairs, like Davy and Kari come together a lot. And there's like certain characters that we like to see together, and so we kind of repeat those relationships as recurring when they are in the same setting. So like obviously when it came down to the Kingdom game, a lot of the relationship to Carrie was different because they didn't have 4 years of petty high school drama behind them. But, a lot of the, like, if they didn't have 4 years of petty high school drama behind them, this would have happened, but, like, at the same time, between the other four, like, the relationships were still pretty solid and similar. Carrie's is the one that changed due to, like, the nature of their relationship changing and everything like that. But, yeah.
Yeah, Max and Meryl's relationship in the Kingdom game was directly informed by what had happened in the High School Fiasco game, despite the fact that it's not a direct sequel.
Yeah, it was two completely different universes, but it was very fun to sort of take what, and again, this is going on to the next question, thanks Riley, but very fun to sort of take what had already been done and transpose it into a completely different universe and see what would have happened.
But let it inform, because because as Mab was saying, certain character dynamics get established. Is it worth us, Dora, do you want to read Riley's second question as we're sort of folding?
Yeah.
They're kind of the same question.
Yeah. Also, with regard to recurring characters, how do you think about them when moving them to a new universe? Is it like taking the same base to start with every time and seeing where it goes, or do you bring their character development with you into new separate games?
And then she says, hope that makes sense. And yeah, it totally makes sense.
Definitely.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I think this kind of touches on what I mentioned earlier, is that I have a pin board for their general aesthetic, and then I can just, obviously the first game that I played Carrie in, she was a Instagram model that had the power to stop time, and then she went to a high school where they didn't have Instagram because it wasn't a thing yet, and so it was, my MySpace top 5. And then in Space, where they had Space Instagram. No, she wasn't, she wasn't like, everyone's gonna be on my MySpace top 5 or my Instagram page, I'll, pay to have promos or whatever influencers do, and, so it's basically, but like the thing that carries over, is that, she's, high femme sapphic head bitch in charge, and like that is the key essence of Carrie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Davy and Kari is one of the relationships that got to have a revisit, because I really liked the dynamic that Davy and Kari had in Kingdom. Their relationship comes from a very different place in Karma, but that dynamic of Kari being in this protective role is very much still there. But it was interesting to think about how it was different, because they didn't have the same history.
They didn't have the same history. Davy wasn't a prince of a disgraced space empire that was all murdered,
It's like we didn't really touch on, and it's something that and I think we've discussed in season 2, hopefully getting back to the BuzzFeed Unsolved of Follow the Leader. Because we had so much fun doing it, and we want Sam and Kales to get to come and play in that universe with us. How Davy and Kari came to know each other in that universe, I'd love to address that question somehow. Whereas Marius getting into that universe was sort of, because that was a new relationship dynamic that got to come in. But I just love Marius in every universe. I am one of the few people in all of our Discord servers that I am a hardcore. I don't like the term stan, but I definitely stan Marius. Not just because
so
I end up I've romanced Marius as two different characters at this point, and will continue to do so. Because look, I'm valid, okay? I don't need anyone else to tell me I'm valid. I know
valid.
I am.
Nope, you're valid.
But I am one of the people that will go to Burke just like, yes, Marius is a fussy asshole, and I love them. I love them so. But that's me getting off topic. But yeah, I will always be here yelling about how great Marius Favors is. So
Yeah, I don't know, like, there's a lot of stuff that, like, I find out about characters in the games that I try, like, as hard as I can, like, as much as I can to, like, bring over with me. Like, when Meryl was originally just, like, me, in that very, very first Follow game, and, like, that about her hasn't changed. But she became, like, so much more in that Fiasco game. Like, Roller Derby Champion was, like, mostly, like, a joke. Like, I was like, fuck it. What if I made her a Roller Derby Champion? I need something for her to do. And, like, one of the location ideas was the roller rink, or the skate park, I think, actually. And I was like, perfect, she's a roller skating champion. Because it was funny. And then her and Saul being stepsisters was also just, like, I was like, that would be fun, I guess. And now it's, like, an important part of her character. So, like, even if, like, I don't know if I would be able to play her without Max and Saul. But if I did, like, those would still be things. Like, at one point in college, in the High School Fiasco universe, she definitely stage managed and started stage managing, and stuff got really weird, and she was like, I'm fucking done with this. It is not worth the cover story. I'll just go back to being a petty criminal. But it's like, if I, like, can't figure out how to make something make sense, I will just, like, say it's true, and then if someone asks me, wait, how? I just go, eh?
Mood.
Yes, and yourself,
like,
it's good. Just like, yeah.
I'll just hand wave it. 'Cause, like, nope, that's still true. And there will be times, like, it hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure there will be a time at some point where I find some piece of character development that I, like, decide I want to walk back, actually.
Yeah. I've had that with Quixote.
Yeah.
I love how Quixote exists in Dream Askew, but Quixote of that world is so shaped by the queer enclave of Dream Askew. And so it very much took down a certain road that I certainly don't regret that choice, but and we've recorded something for season 2 where it's a very different vibe to Quixote, whereas they very much feel like the same person at their core.
But, like, a different setting.
Yeah, and because of the nature of how different that setting was, for me, I got to explore a little bit more of who Quixote is, and I feel like I know them better as a character now, which is really cool.
I love that. Yeah. With me, I haven't really reused a lot of characters yet. So it's kind of hard to say, keeping track of characters that I'm using in, the same character a couple of times. Except, like, across seasons 1 and 2, I played Keta again in a season 2 episode. And that was very much, like, looking back at, the original character of Keta, what the backstory I had decided for her was, and then how I could modify that backstory to be similar to, where she was in this new setting. But it's definitely, like, kind of what a lot of other people said is, like, yeah, it's based on this stuff, but it's definitely, like, looking at the core of the character and then seeing where it goes, and then, like, yeah. Sorry, I'm not adding anything new here.
I think
No, it's fine.
when we came up with the conceit for this podcast, which was, hey, what if we had characters that we could just do AUs of as often as we wanted and just riff? And that, I think when we first came up with it, we didn't necessarily think how much they would each iteration would influence the next. Yeah. And it's been a cool kind of thing for us to discover as players as we've gone on in this experiment. And
as someone who has a character who literally, I'm not joking, has 30 different universes. 30. It is really, really cool to see how even the universes that you don't necessarily come back to again can influence future character choices that you make, because you go back to that universe that you were only in for a second and you go, like, even if we never go back to the Lady Demon Hunters Karma game that we played, there will still be choices I made, which I can't think of off the top of my head, that I made for Annabelle that I'll carry forward with me into future games with her, because I'm like, oh, I remember that she did this in a past game. This is probably something that I will, like, think about going forward, and then I think about it and it develops further. And it's just really interesting to see how, like, every setting that you put a character in, like, influences them and makes them more of a multifaceted character in a lot of really, really cool ways. It makes them feel more like people, too.
Exactly.
Because you know how they're going to respond to any given situation.
I've played Kingdom Hearts. I know how this works.
I think that's all of our questions, Dora, unless you had something you wanted to add to that.
No, I think y'all pretty much covered my thoughts on it too, so I would just be gilding the lily at this point, so all right.
That's been our Q&A. Thank you for listening to Season 1 and for caring enough to listen to us talk about Season 1.
Yeah.
I got really
Thanks for giving
excited
us
about Season 1.
questions. Yeah.
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 And,
before we go, I do want to once again plug the fact that I believe it's March 20th is the day.
Hold on, I'm opening up Google Calendar.
Yep.
Patreon.
The spring. First day of spring, right?
Yep.
Spring.
First day of
Yes.
spring.
March 20th, first day of spring.
We'll be launching our Patreon, and you can get cool stuff if you contribute, like access to the archived live streams, outtakes and bloopers.
A couple of other really cool things that we're working on.
Yeah.
Some drawings from me.
Some bonus stuff from me.
Wow, so many things.
It's going to be really cool. A lot of what we plan on using the proceeds from this for is we're trying to get through our backlog of transcripts. So that's where a lot of that is going to end up going, because we want to make it as accessible for everyone as we can.
Shout outs to Susie again.
Yes.
Yes.
Your girl only has so much brain space to do episode summaries, which is why there hasn't been one since the quiet year. Sorry, y'all.
Yep.
It's fine.
Winter is a season of hell.
Yeah.
Winter is a bitch and a fuck.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so that's that. Shoot. If you enjoy what we do, we would be really grateful if you could rate and review us on iTunes or your other favorite podcasting app of choice.
Tell your friends about us. We're on Spotify, so it really isn't like you don't have to download anything new if you already have Spotify to listen to us.
Yep.
And also don't forget to, if you tweet about us with our hashtag FTLcast, we will see your tweets and
We
know
crave
what you're saying about our
validation.
podcast.
We crave
Get
it.
that sweet, sweet validation dopamine.
Yep. All right. I think that's everything.
Let's go do a clap.